our rundown today, our show is going to look like this. We're going to talk about Sunday Night Football. Going to talk some Cowboys and Ravens. Talk about the Dolphins. Obviously, panic mode. Do we talk Cowboys more panic mode than the Dolphins and Niners? There's a lot of panic modes to kind of talk about. Bryce Young
sucks.
Problem.
He's the problem.
He was the problem.
Can't argue that.
But Dolphins maybe trade for him. We're gonna go down. Maybe. We'll talk a little NFC West. You got the Seahawks. You got the Rams, who obviously won a game against the Niners, so that'll be there.
Beat up Rams.
We're talking about the NFC North, Lions.
Great division.
Fun.
Really
fun.
Vikings.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fun. I think they might be the scariest team in the NFC North.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about Giants Browns. Thinks it might be the end for Deshaun Watson.
Should be.
Should have been a while ago on the field, of course. We're gonna welcome back down to earth the Bucs and the Saints. Tough performances.
Sorry, guys. Welcome back. Sorry.
And last but not least, we're going to give the floor to Pat to talk some Jets Super Bowl contenders because you deserve that one.
I do deserve it.
Welcome back to another episode of Caps Off, presented by Better. It's Monday morning, baby.
Yeah, it is.
Let's go.
Well, it's Sunday night for us.
So,
It's Monday morning for you.
It's 12:05 right now.
Yes, it is.
It's Happy Monday.
No
Happy
Jack,
Monday.
though.
No Jack.
He's in Switzerland.
Honestly, real big miss because of the Niners, and I really wanted
And
to
the
drink. I wanted to
Seahawks.
drink his tears. I want to drink his tears.
Jack would have had the worst episode because
would've
it's a
been so
three-pronged
fun.
approach. You got
Yeah.
the Seahawks that are now undefeated. You got the Niners who lost to the Rams, who he's always said that Sean McVay is the child of Kyle Shanahan. And then the Vikings, who he predicted to be 0-6 over the first 6 games, are now 3-0. And I'm going to glaze donut the fuck hot and ready them so badly.
The
this
only
entire
cherry
episode.
on top would have been if the Eagles won or lost too.
Oh, it would have been so good. It would have been so good. No, I think it's better that they
yeah,
won.
Eagles won. Sorry.
It's better
Well,
that
the
they
cherry
won.
on top. Eagles won.
Yeah, it's better that they won.
Yeah, Eagles
It's
are better
great.
than the Niners.
This is going to be a great episode.
Oh, I think it's going to be
We
fantastic.
have a sick episode to talk about. So many things. I'm going to let you know right now before we get into it. I am going to absolutely murder my head coach.
Yes, you should.
I am going to put a knife to his
If
fucking
we're
throat.
going to get ahead of ourselves, I'm going to glaze the balls off my
Probably,
team.
sorry, to interrupt. Probably bleep that part for you
No,
too, right?
no, we're keeping that in.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
He's
No,
going
I
to
don't
murder
know.
Mike McDaniel, and I'm also going to murder Shane Waldron. So
Cool.
I got no problems with my team.
Yeah, yeah, you're good right now. You're riding high. But before we get into our full episode today, I want to talk to you about 1,000x payouts and Better Picks. Better Picks lets you win up to 1,000 times your money all NFL season long. That is one of the highest multipliers in the entire daily fantasy industry. It doesn't get easier than that. $1 into 1,000.
Or 100 into 100,000.
Yeah, but $1 into 1,000 is like it's literally you find $1 in quarters. Like you can't find $100 in quarters.
And now you're going
like,
to Cancun.
And
Exactly.
and if you're thinking about to yourself, I already play daily fantasy on other providers. Well, did you know that if you play a 5, 6, 7, or 8 person multiplier or lineup, you actually get better multipliers on Better Picks?
It's literally better than all the other guys. I don't get
It's
it.
better is better.
Better is
period.
better.
Better is quite literally the best.
So all you have to do is set your lineup every single time that there's an NFL game. I mean, you can do it for anything else, but we're obviously an NFL podcast. So make sure to download Better, play Better Picks, use promo code CAPS off when you do. 1,000 extra money. Join all the 1,000x winners this season. Now let's get to the show.
Let's get into
I'll do it.
Man,
They're inevitable, man.
is everyone ready?
Yeah, they're
Are you
inevitable.
ready
we're
to
ready.
fucking put it in gear?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
took my shoes off because I needed to have my toes breathe. I'm like,
I might.
get
I have
comfortable.
sandals on.
Get
yeah.
comfortable.
All right, are we doing a
It's
shoeless
well,
show?
lock
Lock
it
it
in.
in.
Yeah, we're doing a
Or
shoeless
shoe-
episode.
shoeless episode.
We're doing a shoeless episode.
Shoeless show.
The Chiefs are the fucking Chiefs every
They're inevitable,
time.
bro. They're fucking inevitable.
It's ridiculous.
As soon as they go down, we have to take them live to win the game.
I said, we flubbed. I said
Flubbed?
on last episode,
Interesting.
if the Chiefs go down and their money line live is remotely close to even, you take the Chiefs. The line was pretty close to even at the beginning of the game. I'm sure after they gave up the opening drive touchdown to the Falcons, probably could have got the Chiefs at plus money, and we forgot.
It's insane.
And we forgot.
It's fatigue.
It's like you get Patrick Mahomes to make you profit. Why would you not do that? He's the best quarterback in the league. And
Well,
it's
I
not
think
close.
the other part to that, you're talking about like actually betting on the Chiefs, is that it's not just Patrick Mahomes, it's Andy Reid. Like I trust coaching, and we're talking about a head coach who knows how to fucking run that offense, and then Steve Spagnuolo, who might be one of the best, if not the best, defensive coordinator
Probably is.
in the NFL. So the fact that I even thought that the Falcons had a chance, and frankly they did have a chance, but when you're going up against Patrick Mahomes, it doesn't matter what the score looks like, you're not going to come away with a win.
Well, they also really dropped the ball, not taking the points, going for it on fourth. If they took the points there, it would have been 22-20. Then they get the Chiefs to go 3 and out. Then they were right back in field goal range. Could have ran out the clock, kick a field goal, win 23-22. But that's not what happened. They went for the points. I get it in the moment. In hindsight, it's 2020. Falcons are sneaky. Falcons, I think, are going to be frisky all year long.
they'll figure it out.
I think they're going to hover around 500. I don't think they're a contender by any stretch, but I don't want to see them on my schedule. It's not a walk in the park.
They have a
by
good
any
defense,
stretch.
but I also think that the Falcons have a little bit of a play calling issue right now because we can point to the 4th and 1 call where you put Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson in the game. And frankly, like, everyone knows that if you're going to run the ball, it should be with Bijan Robinson. But if you put both of them in the game, in a formation that you've already run at some point in that same game, everyone knows where the ball is going and to which side. So there was no creativity involved, and that was you knew that Nick Bolton was going to make that play.
On 4th and 1, it should never be run left and right. It should be go straight. It should be get upfield as quickly as possible. You have an athlete in Bijan Robinson who has fought for that extra yard plenty of times. He knows how to get 1 yard.
You basically told your offensive line, hey, we have no faith in you guys to get any push forward.
Which is crazy because they're one of the best offensive lines in football.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a bad call. But I would like to I'd like to file a missing persons report if that's all right with you guys. I'd like to call the police and file a missing persons report.
On who? I didn't know where you were gonna go with that one.
Yeah. Travis Kelce.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was happening.
Care to show up?
No.
At any point during this season? Like I understand you got a full-time girlfriend who takes up all of your headspace
and a podcast,
and a podcast, and you got like 17 different sponsorships, and you're in a commercial every fucking 7 minutes. But last I checked, your full-time job, your full-time occupation, which you get paid millions of dollars to do, is to catch footballs and score touchdowns, and you have not done that this season.
You have
at
not
all.
hit your better picks projections in 3 straight fucking weeks.
And he hasn't come close. He's been an absolute ghost on the football field.
Guys, he had 5 receiving yards in week 2.
Jeez.
Like,
and it's like today
5.
was his best game ever, and he had, 4 catches for 30 yards? And he's just not making any impact anywhere. Like, you don't see him blocking, and he's not making the big catch on 3rd down that you're used to seeing. He's not the seam route down the middle where, it's a disaster. Nope, Travis Kelce down there somewhere. He's nowhere to be seen.
I'm also not trying to body shame, but you look fat.
No, wait, I thought he got skinny.
I think you look fat, and I think you look slow.
Skinny.
I think he got skinny. I think he got skinny. I feel like I saw that somewhere.
His face, I think she lipoed him out.
Yeah, I think she was like, I don't like how burly you are.
Yeah, you look too much like a man for me. I need you to look like a Barbie doll.
I don't know. It's weird. But the main reason I wanted to bring this up is for Travis Kelce fantasy owners. If you took Travis Kelce, you probably got him in the first 3 rounds, I'd say is where he was going.
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't even think he's a top 10 tight end this season. And I think going forward, I think that's almost fair to say. So I want to do another exercise here. You guys ready for this? It's another exercise.
I like that.
I have Travis Kelce in my fantasy football league, and I want to trade him to you guys for your tight ends.
I don't want him.
You're trading me tight end 30? Like,
I'm trading you Travis Kelce, bro. I'm trading you Travis Kelce. So I'm trading you Travis Kelce.
You're trading me a name.
I'm going to give you a list of tight ends that you guys own, and you tell me if you're willing to accept the trade for Travis Kelce or you're not taking it. All right? Does that make sense to everybody?
No, it makes perfect sense. But like, you're trying to give me him. This is not like CMC last week. Like,
no, I am trying to unload Travis Kelce onto some sad schmuck who doesn't know ball and doesn't know how to project forward-looking things.
Travis Kelce is currently tight end 20.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to kick off this one for you. I have Travis Kelce. You guys have Dallas Goedert. Are you giving me Goddard?
I want Kelce.
You want Kelce?
I will give you Dallas Goedert. I will give you Dallas Goedert.
Well, just so you guys know, Dallas Goedert is the number 1 tight end right now. He is the number 1 tight end. He had 170 yards today. So you might be missing that part. So both of you just gave me the number 1 tight end for the number 20 tight end. Thank you very much.
But he's the number 1 tight end because of 1 week. Like that is a byproduct of what the tight end.
He has 40 points on the season. 27 of them came today.
That's the tight end landscape. Yeah, that's.
But you guys gave me the trade, so and I am so happy that you did.
Okay, me too.
All right,
that's my Nazi.
Stop it. I am giving you Travis Kelce. You're giving me Cole Kmet.
I think I'm going to keep Kelce. I want Kelce. I will give you Cole
I
Kmet.
like Cole Kmet because he is a rookie quarterback. I like rookie quarterbacks with tight ends.
Oh, my God. Cole Kmet is tight end 3?
Cole Kmet is tight end 3.
What? I didn't even know he had that good of a game. He had 25 fantasy points in week 3.
He is tight end 3. Yeah, he's tight end 3.
I still want Kelce. I'll take a chance.
All right. You have Kyle Pitts. I'm giving you Kelce. Are you giving me Pitts for Kelce?
This is now sneaky.
I can't do that. Kyle Pitts has way too much of a
Okay, but who is to say that they're not pretty similar? Because you're going to wait on you're like Kyle Pitts, you're going to be like the Kyle Pitts breakout. I know what he was, and he had 1 long bomb against the fucking Chiefs.
And he still had a pretty bad game.
And he still had a pretty bad game. But at the same time, like, is it gonna there's gonna here's how I think this is gonna happen. The Chiefs are gonna have 1 game where Travis Kelce does happen to go off for like 110, and everyone's gonna be like, Travis Kelce's back, Travis Kelce's back, right back down to earth. I think they're pretty similar. To answer your question, I think I'm going to still take Travis Kelce because I'm going to bank on history, and history is not in Kyle Pitts' favor.
So you think you guys, or I guess you think Travis Kelce is going to find his groove at some point?
No,
I think
go ahead.
I think the Travis Kelce we once knew is gone.
I think the biggest difference here that you guys haven't mentioned yet, granted we're not talking about the Chiefs a lot, they have weapons now.
Yeah.
It used to be the Travis Kelce show, and everyone else just try to hold your weight and stay above water. right now Travis Kelce is option number 3.
Yeah, he might be.
I think it's Rashee Rice, clearly the number 1 guy.
Yeah.
Pacheco if healthy.
Pacheco if healthy. Xavier Worthy's getting touches in different creative ways. And then there's Travis Kelce. And it's like, I don't think he's at the top of the pecking order in terms of who's getting targets in that Chiefs offense anymore.
If the tight end position was loaded, I would say, yes, I'm probably moving off. If the guys that you were just talking about were having really good seasons, but we're talking about guys that have had one good spike weeks that have kind of inflated their numbers. When I look at the Travis Kelce situation or just the tight end landscape in fantasy in general, it's a shit show.
Yes.
So I will bank because I know the floor seems incredibly low, but what?
You went full like fantasy nerd there for a
I'm
second.
fucking nerding out right now. I looked straight into the
No,
light.
no.
I was like,
All right, I got 2 more for you guys, and then we'll wrap this up. I have Travis Kelce, you have Jake Ferguson, and I want him. You giving him to me?
Yeah, because I don't trust Dak.
Really?
yeah, yeah.
So this was Ferguson's first full game being played, and he had 11 targets for 6 catches, 95 yards.
It's like he prepared this and knew what was
That
going
was
to
a
happen.
bad trade.
That wasn't a good trade. So that was his first healthy week back. He's clearly a big part of that offense.
Well, I think he's the second option.
I think so too, and I think
Unless Brandon Cooks, but like,
he's probably the primary red zone target too.
yeah, I mean,
You guys are forgetting about Zeke.
Okay.
Rico
And then the last and final one that I'm going to give you guys, I have Travis Kelce. You have Isaiah Likely, and I want him.
I will trade that because Isaiah Likely, they have another tight end that went off today in that offense.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you Isaiah Likely because
think that's
again,
right.
we freaked out over fucking week 1, and Mark Andrews was Mark Andrews didn't play as many snaps, but B, he was blanketed completely. So the snaps that he did play, he was fucking covered the entire time. Everyone ran to the waiver wire to pick up Isaiah Likely, and now here we are. That dude has sucked lately.
Dude, I one of my buddies in our home league, $50 fab on Isaiah Likely week 1.
JoJo did that too.
No.
Yeah, JoJo
I know
did
it's
that
crazy
too.
though. He's still tight end 5, and that's the answer to this problem.
And then just to put a bow on this, guys that are above Travis Kelce, just going to throw out some names. Foster Moreau, Zach Ertz, Colby Parkinson, Janu Smith, Noah Fant, Chiga Konkwu, Tyler Conklin, Mike Gesicki, Pat Freiermuth, Hunter Henry.
Elijah Higgins.
Pretty much fucking everybody.
Do you know who Elijah Higgins is?
I don't.
He
But
went
no,
to
he's below him.
Stanford. What?
He's below him.
What team
Oh,
does
he's
he play
22.
for?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
He plays for the Cardinals. I've never heard of him. But there you have it.
The
Kelce
Dolphins
kind of
drafted
sucks.
him from
Welcome
Stanford.
to the league.
Kelce kind of sucks.
Yeah, Travis Kelce's been missing. I like that. You are definitely allowed to file missing.
Yeah, I'm
for-
gonna call the police.
That's good. By the way, you still can't find him though. So that's what that is. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know kind of where I would net out from like how I feel about Kelce, but I definitely think it's safe to say that Taylor Swift has been a distraction.
I think
you
it's
are
very,
just not the same
very
player.
safe. And thank God I full faded him in every league. I had never had any interest in drafting him.
there was some
had
interest,
none.
but I'd rather just take a flyer.
He was
later
on my no matter where he falls to, do not draft.
But by the way, if you punted on the tight end position, you are probably doing well because there's not a
Bowers.
single tight end right now that you are actually winning games because
Brock
of.
Bowers was like the last tight end that people were drafting as their tight end 1, and he is the tight end 1.
He did it.
Yeah, same. I did that in one league. Thank
All right,
God.
let's move on. I want to talk about another game, another big game.
With another star tight end. Mark Andrews.
Well, no, Well, you did just talk about Jake Ferguson, and we talked about Isaiah Likely. I want to talk Cowboys Ravens. I think Cowboys Ravens was one of those games at the 4:00 slate where the Ravens being 0-3, couldn't see that, and then the Cowboys losing 2 in a row at home. Like that was a really hard thing to see. High level thoughts, Cowboys Ravens, anything?
It is once that game started, I was like, it was always the Ravens. There's no way they're going 0-2. They are a good football team. Lamar Jackson looks like MVP Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
he
he
is
looks
running
really good.
all over
That
the
all
place. He's
purple
delivering throws, and they are clearly. It seems as though to this game they were like, oh, we have Derrick Henry and the best running quarterback in the NFL. Maybe we should run the ball 35 times in a game.
Right.
Maybe that's the strategy to win.
It's almost like they figured out the balance between let Lamar be Lamar and give the ball to Derrick Henry, who's like arguably a top 5 running
So
back
he
in the
had,
league.
I think, 26 carries. He had 2 touchdowns, 100-something yards. And that's clearly the formula that the Ravens need to follow to win. They need to fucking figure out how to win games in the fourth. They almost blew a 10-point lead in the fourth for the second week in a row.
Yes and no. So Derrick Henry, 25 carries, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground.
That's good.
You look at the receiver room. Nelson Aguilar led them with 1 reception for 56 yards.
How many times did Lamar throw the ball? Like 20?
15?
Yeah, 15
That's
throws.
not, but that's not sustainable.
No,
in
it's
my
not
opinion.
sustainable, but that's Ravens football.
But that's what we asked them to do in the AFC Championship last year when they threw the ball 35 times. We're like, why aren't they only throwing the ball 15
I just want it to be
times?
more balanced.
Yes.
I just think like what
Sure.
happens, like we saw it against the Chiefs. Like let's talk about going up against the Chiefs because clearly the Cowboys defense has been abysmal when you got trashed by the Saints and also then the Ravens again. So when I look at the Ravens right now, like I'm going to keep saying it. I think last year was the Ravens' ceiling. I just do not see the Ravens being able to go to a Super Bowl with this style of football. I understand that we might now, in 2024, be living in a time where the bell cow might have come back and we want to be a lot more run heavy and everyone's complaining about too high safeties. The whole 9 fucking yards. Pass the fucking ball. Be more balanced. It's got to be closer to a 60-40 split.
A little more
and not
balanced,
a 70 to 80-20 type split where you're just favoring your running backs. But my takeaway has nothing to do with the Ravens of that game, personally.
I think I know where you're headed with this one.
I look at the Cowboys. Like, if you're Jerry Jones, you are losing your goddamn fucking mind. Yep. Jerry Jones just paid Dak Prescott $60 million a year to be your quarterback. Jerry Jones just paid CeeDee Lamb an arm, a fucking leg in the last 20 years of his lifetime to be your star wide receiver. And your team fucking blows at home. When was the last time the Dallas Cowboys lost 2 in a row at home?
I'm going to guess you have the answer here because
I don't. I'll be honest,
probably
I don't.
a long time ago.
But it's probably a long time. It can't be. Well, it's got to probably be within the last 5 years. But that's still, it doesn't really happen that often. It can't happen that often.
And I think we're seeing the diva wide receiver is so back.
Oh my God.
We had CeeDee. I only saw it on Twitter. I didn't dig too deep. But he was bitching to Dak of, I'm open. Get me the fucking ball,
And
bro.
he wasn't, by the way.
They never are. And the QB is usually under pressure in those situations. But there's trouble in paradise. And I think we need to start talking about the P word.
What's the P word?
Panicking.
Oh.
I think they're panicking.
You think the Cowboys are panicking?
I think
Jerry
Cowboys
Jones
fans are panicking.
Well,
the organization should definitely be panicking. Like,
should we do panic rankings of the Cowboys? Because when I see panic rankings, I think, like, who's panicking more? Is it Jerry Jones, Cowboys fans, or Micah Parsons?
Because
Micah
I think Micah
Parsons
Parsons is loving his life right now.
Why? The defense is terrible.
I think
he just got trounced by
I know, but I think he's like, I didn't get my money yet. I can go get that somewhere else and go win a Super Bowl.
Oh.
I think he's like, thank God they chose not to pay me. Now
So
I can go hit the market, get all the money in the world.
Yeah.
I think he's not happy. I think he's like, kind of happy I didn't sign that contract. I don't know if one was offered to him, but I think he's now looking at it like maybe Dallas ain't it. Maybe this is not the place to win championships.
Cowboys fans, Micah, Jerry Jones. I don't think Jerry Jones actually cares about the success of his team on the field. Like, seriously, I think he's just
hot take.
I think he almost literally only cares about that.
I think if the Cowboys won a Super Bowl, he would die the next day.
I actually could not agree more.
Yeah, he would.
If Jerry Jones saw the Cowboys win a Super Bowl right now, he would happily croak.
Well, the only thing keeping him alive is the fact that he hasn't won a Super Bowl. He's willing to trade his life for a Super Bowl. I disagree big time.
It's crazy because I brought up the Ravens not throwing the ball enough, and that not being sustainable. And then you look at the Cowboys, how they tried coming back. Obviously, they had to come back. They were down by a shit ton. Is also not sustainable. Dak Prescott throwing the ball 51 times is not something that you could rely on. I think if the Cowboys are going to have success this year, if they are going to find a way to win games and be a threat in the NFC like we all think they can be in the regular season, they got to run the ball more. And you got to stop with the Ezekiel Elliott.
Zeke and Dowdle,
regardless of how you feel about Dowdle, and yes, I've been high on him. He looked better than Zeke.
Sure,
he looked a lot better than Zeke.
But he's not
averaging
a guy,
4 yards a carry. That's not like amazing.
I don't think the answer to the Cowboys' woes is let's give Rico Dowdle the ball more.
I'm not saying that's the answer, but what I am saying is there needs to be more balance. They ran the ball 16 times, and yes, they were down a shit ton. We know that the run is going to open up the pass.
Well, I do think that the game script.
You got to give the ball.
I think to talking about balanced offense, I think the game script kind of influenced both the guys' play calling there.
For sure.
Can we talk about other 1 and 2 teams?
Well, you did say panic mode. So yeah.
I want to talk. You want to tee this one up since it involves your guys?
No. I actually really don't know if I almost actually just farted.
Okay, so I'll handle it.
I'm like actually nervous to go into this shit.
I got you then.
No,
I'll handle this one.
I'm panicking.
No, as you should be. All right.
I am panicking.
There are 3 really good 1 and 2 teams right now. The Dolphins, the 49ers, and the Cowboys. I want you guys to rank which fan base is panicking the most right now. And I felt a little, as it came out of my mouth, I don't know if the Dolphins are a really good football team, but those are 3 teams that were supposed to be really good, and now they're 1 and 2. I want you guys to tell me who you think is panicking the most. Adam, I'll give you the floor first since you are a fan of the Dolphins.
I do think the Dolphins are 1.
Do you really?
I think the Dolphins are 1. I think it's Dolphins, Cowboys,
I don't agree.
49ers. And I think it's okay, I'll tell you why. I think that the Cowboys going up against the Cowboys losing to the Saints is definitely that is like, okay, was it a fluke? Then you obviously play the Ravens. You almost came back. Like you were right there. The game was you could have stole that one. The Dolphins for years now have been trying to build a Super Bowl contending team with a quarterback who cannot stay healthy, with an offensive line who cannot perform. But what do? We go out and we spend fucking money on our weapons. You got Tyreek Hill, you got Jalen Waddle. Then you look in the secondary, you got Jalen Ramsey, Kendall Fuller. You got guys like Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb.
Sure.
You got a ton of guys where last year, you look at this Dolphins team, they were one of the best offenses in the NFL.
No doubt.
The Dolphins now have literally the worst offense in the NFL.
How many points have they scored?
Well, I'm not going to get into this right now.
No?
I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole.
Okay. I think it's like 30-something, by the way.
I generally think that the Dolphins fans are panicking the most out of those three because you're down your quarterback. Your head coach fucking has regressed in big-time moments and big-time games.
You think?
He cannot get his team ready to play. And your quarterback, if your quarterback, Tua's going to come back, your quarterback gets hit one more time, it literally could be the complete end of an entire era of Dolphins football. And so I think Dolphins fans are panicking even more because you are now seeing that, like, we fucking really need this dude has scrambled eggs as a brain.
Yeah.
Like, we actually need him at the helm. So, with Cowboys, you have your quarterback, you have your wide receiver one, you have Micah Parsons.
But if you're a Cowboys fan, you just signed your quarterback, and he's clearly not the quarterback for this franchise.
No, I think Dak is. I think Dak is.
What has he shown you in the last 2 weeks, in the first 3 weeks of the season, that he's like the guy?
Well, he just threw for 379.
While
everything.
playing from behind 3 scores for half the game.
The defense got gashed.
You actually made a very compelling argument to me for Dolphins being one in that ranking because, like you said, at the end of this season, you guys could be back to literally ground zero.
Yeah.
You could be back to blow the entire thing up. Tua got hurt again and he has retired from football, or he comes back and he's trash and or scared and playing scared. Like, this season could end in the worst way possible for you guys. And even before Tua got hurt, you guys looked terrible in that Bills game. Yeah. And now you bring in Skylar Thompson. You're supposed to have the brightest offensive mind in the game who should be able to adapt to a different quarterback and get him to flourish in his system. But instead, he was the worst quarterback in the league in week 3. And so like you said, I coming into this, I was going to go Cowboys, Dolphins, Niners. I'm going to flip-flop and agree with you. It's Dolphins, Cowboys, Niners because Dak Prescott's good. CeeDee Lamb is good. They got big contracts. You gave them the contracts for a reason. You were excited when you gave them the contracts.
100%.
I don't think overreacting after 3 weeks is... They're going to overreact, but that's just fans being fans. You actually have very real reason to panic. Very real.
Tygo, thoughts?
You know, you do make a very compelling argument. Like, yes, understanding that more so, it makes more sense. But, like, I do think there's something to be said where you've locked yourself into Dak and CeeDee Lamb, and these guys aren't performing. Like, you don't really have an escape plan. The blowout plan for the Dolphins is a scary reality, but, like, being a mediocre franchise with Dak Prescott, who you're paying an ass ton of money, and CeeDee Lamb, who's acting like a fucking diva in week 3 of an NFL season, what are we looking at here on the offensive side of the ball? And on the defensive side of the ball,
they've looked terrible.
They've looked terrible. And you didn't sign Micah, so you don't have that cornerstone to build around. And Micah could very well walk. And it's like, what are we doing here? If I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm a little nervous because you were supposed to get these contracts. The boys were supposed to be happy. They're supposed to be winning games. And you're not even a fucking contender in the NFC.
I think you did make a really good point. Basically, what happened is, like, if these 3 guys are playing a poker hand right now, the Dolphins are checking and hoping that no one else places a bet, and the Cowboys just went all in.
Yeah.
And if they lose this hand,
by the way,
then they are out of the game.
By the way, I actually could not disagree more. The Miami Dolphins are all in.
Yeah, I mean, they did just give to
the Miami Dolphins. You want to talk about panic mode?
You win. You win.
You win.
Just give me a fucking couple minutes because I have so many bones to pick right now. I have been building this up all fucking day. I have absolutely so much to say about the Miami Dolphins, so just bear with me and just see when that vein pops out of my neck because it's fucking coming. Mike McDaniel, you are the fucking problem in Miami. You want to talk about panic mode? The Miami Dolphins head coach is the problem in Miami right now. You are terrible when it comes to in-game adjustments. Your situational play calling is fucking trash, and your ability to get your team ready to play football is garbage. Garbage. You went into the game against the Seahawks. Sorry, just let me keep going. You went into the game with the Seahawks saying Skylar Thompson is a good enough fucking quarterback to run the exact same scheme and game plan with Tua there. It was the exact same thing. You didn't change anything. Let me tell you this. Ready? The Dolphins, 1st and goal from the 6.
3 points.
Tyreek and Jalen Waddle don't touch the ball.
That's stupid.
That's insane.
3 points. They have it again. 1st and goal from the 4. Tyreek, Waddle, do not touch the ball. They don't score points at all. At all. There was a time in the game where literally the Dolphins, in their first 2 plays of the drive, had 28 yards on the ground. You know what they did next? They threw the ball 3 more fucking times and went 3 and out.
I think what happened here with Mike McDaniel is that he's in Miami, and I think the cool guy factor of Miami has gotten to his head. I think if he was coaching for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Cleveland Browns, someone a little more ground and pound, blue collar, I think he would be a little more focused. He showed up to that press conference before the season looking way too cool, and I think it's clearly gone to his head.
The Miami Dolphins have scored 33 points this year. The Carolina Panthers have scored 36 in 1 week of week 3 after us saying that Bryce Young was the problem and Andy Dalton fucking came in and scored 36.
Yeah.
33. The Miami Dolphins are the only team in the NFL this season that have not led once for 1 second in the game. When the Dolphins beat the Jags, it was because there was no time left. Jason Sanders had a game-winning walk-off field goal. Mike McDaniel, you are the problem. Literally, Chris Greer, the GM of the fucking team in the offseason said, well, the media, you guys are more worried about the offensive line than we are. We have no concerns. You better have fucking concerns. They're terrible.
All right, I think that's enough.
Yeah.
I'm just a little worried about
Mike McDaniel is the problem in Miami right now. If you cannot adjust, if you went into the season saying we are actually Super Bowl contenders and put Skylar Thompson out there as your quarterback, you are an unserious franchise that has no aspirations of actually going out there and trying to win a Super Bowl. Because if you knew that Tua is the guy and he gets hurt once, you think Skylar's going to take you there? So you brought up panic mode. The Miami Dolphins are all in on Tua Tagovailoa.
I think it's pretty obvious who's number one panicker.
I might pass out
Dolphins
right
fans.
No, yeah, I know. You need to take a deep breath for a second.
He's the problem.
Like you said, Mickey Mouse organization move, not having a solid backup quarterback.
Look at my hands.
It's what the Jets did last year. They have an injury-prone old quarterback. They have Super Bowl aspirations. He goes down, season kaput. Same thing happened to the Dolphins now. I also want to just tie a bow again on the panic mode for the 1 and 2 teams. The 49ers, you're fucking fine. This was a tough loss for you. You're missing CMC. You're missing Deebo Samuel. I don't think Kittle played. You lost a close one. You're still the 49ers. I'm not panicking at all if I'm a 49ers fan.
There's no panic to be hit here, but like Brock Purdy is like 3 touchdown passes. He's not going to win you a game though.
He threw for like 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Can I make this about me one more time?
Yeah, sure.
The Dolphins have trailed for 343 snaps this season, a league high. Through 3 games last year, the Dolphins led for 360 snaps, which was the second most in the NFL at that time.
So
they've
flip-flopped.
We could not be worse. We
to
have
worst.
regressed
First to worst.
tremendously. The Miami Dolphins have gone from one of the best offenses in the NFL to a team that can't even put up 20 points in a single game. Mike McDaniel, you are the problem. Chris Greer, you are the problem.
It's almost like they figured out that if you
over
cover the flat, the wheel, and the vert, you can stop the Miami Dolphins.
The Dolphins got it. So, yeah, panic mode. We're all in. Tua's got the contract.
DEFCON 1.
Literally.
Yeah.
They need to figure that shit out.
If there was a
quick.
button, we would be hitting it right now.
Yeah, we should have brought a big red button in here just so Adam could smash it to
panic
a million
rankings,
pieces.
But like the Dolphins, if you're a Dolphins fan, like I'm a Dolphins fan, I am genuinely panicking.
Oh, I couldn't tell.
If I showed,
Are you're worried right now? Sorry.
My Dolphins chat was on one.
I can't imagine.
So yeah, with the 49ers,
You want a tip?
Yeah,
Give up.
just let go.
Give up.
He did it last year.
I had to do it with the Jets. It took me a little bit, and it just makes it a little more painful. They were still like 5-2 at one point, or 5-3.
Facts.
They won a few games with their shitty quarterback, and then there was Aaron Rodgers might be back for a playoff run. Give up.
But if Tua comes back, you can be all the way back
Question
in.
for you: Did you say you'd run a marathon on Mount Everest?
No, but come on. Did you really believe that was ever not going to happen?
Yeah,
You thought they were going to be the 1 seed? I think it was.
They were 9-3 last year through 12 games, and then injuries happened. Yes, I believe that. So the only reason I can't give up is because I got to train for a marathon on Mount Everest if they don't beat the 1 seed. So thanks.
Yeah,
for
I
the
didn't put
words.
myself in that kind of hole last year. I know my team, and I knew disaster was pending.
right.
I did put $1,000 on the Jets to make the playoffs last year, though. So I guess I did
Anywho,
kinda
I'm not
do
worried about the 49ers, but I do wish Jack was here. Oh, God, I'm out of
too.
breath.
That would make you feel a little better if Jack was here.
Can we talk about the Panthers?
Yeah, please.
Sure. Where do we want to start? I mean, like Andy Dalton the Red Rocket might be the best quarterback.
Is it-
Red Rifle.
Red
Red
Rifle.
Rocket is the cock that comes out of a
All
dog's
right,
penis.
all right.
When a dog has to piss
I'll say
and
it.
he has an extender, that's a Red Rocket. The Red Rifle is Andy Dalton. Get it fucking right.
The Red Rifle looked really fucking good today.
He did.
He looked like a quarterback that is a good quarterback. It looks like, oh, cool, maybe Bryce Young, not the dude. Maybe he was the issue in Carolina.
Maybe, yeah. No, maybe. Bryce Young was the issue in Carolina.
There's never been a clearer answer of who was the
You
problem.
want to know the craziest part? Andy Dalton is the only quarterback in the NFL right now to throw for 300 plus and throw for 3 touchdowns in the same game.
Yeah, that's
One
absurd.
quarterback. You want to talk about the problem? Everyone has been talking about the
What?
weapons in Carolina. Carolina might not even be fucking 1-2 right now if Andy Dalton.
Hey, just like the Dolphins.
Okay, that's a stark.
Oh my god.
That is a stark reality, bro. Fuck.
Stop.
You put Andy Dalton on this team right now. How far do the Dolphins go?
They're sick.
Can we do
They're great.
a record prediction right now?
No. 14-0 right now, straight away.
Oh my god.
No, I think Bryce. We were talking about this off the pod. Bryce Young was the problem in Carolina.
Yeah.
The other issue to that is there is no coming back from this Carolina.
No.
You saw it firsthand as a Jets fan with Zach Wilson. You cannot expect to bench Bryce Young and then start him again. I don't care what you say. I don't care what Dave Canales in the media says. We want him to sit behind Andy Dalton. No. Just reset all that shit. You better try and trade Bryce Young while you can. Because this shit is going to get very out of hand quickly. Look at the Bears.
Dude, look at Justin Fields. Exactly. Like it's the same thing. Like
What did they get for the Bears?
Like a fifth, right?
Yeah,
it's like
nothing.
nothing. Yeah.
So do you think Bryce Young could still net a second
Third.
rounder?
I think a third.
Not a second?
No, I think a
The
third.
first overall pick from last year can't
Because
get you more than a second?
I think teams know that. Carolina has no leverage with this.
None.
It's a project.
And then on the contrary to that, you could have Bryce Young's agent force him out, and he's like, he doesn't want to be here anymore. I'm not going to sit here and say that. Like, Bryce Young was the problem, but I also don't think Carolina set him up for success last year.
No.
This year, they had weapons. The offensive line was revamped. He's just looked terrible. He has no confidence.
That's the biggest issue right here in terms of what you were saying of once you bench your rookie quarterback for a veteran, there's no going back because you have just sucked every last bit of confidence that guy might have had in him and thrown it out of the street and said, Bryce Young, I'm sorry, you are not going to be the Carolina Panthers quarterback because we think you fucking suck and we think this 37-year-old ginger is better than you. And we're going to trot him out and he's going to throw for 330 and 3 tutties and you're going to look like a bozo sitting on the sideline. I want to talk back to the trade. What team is looking to trade for Bryce Young? Like, who wants him? Anyone?
No.
The Dolphins?
Would you be happy?
If the Miami Dolphins traded for Bryce Young right now, yes, I would be happy.
What would you give up a second for him?
Yeah.
Right now.
We're all fucking in. I got nothing to lose. Tyreek is making a shit ton of money. Jalen Ramsey's the highest paid cornerback in the NFL. Teron Armstead can't stay fucking healthy. He got ruled out for a concussion today because he got poked in the eye. We're all in. I got nothing to lose.
I'll also put my hand up. I would take him too as a Jets fan to learn behind Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, that would be
then
sick.
we can really take him in, learn under Aaron.
Do you still think Bryce Young's a good quarterback?
No,
I do.
Actually, yeah,
I think there's still a good quarterback in there, but right now he's not a good quarterback. We have to someone has to pull the good quarterback out of him.
It's almost like a head coach hasn't done that before in Miami.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be a bad situation for him to come into. Like it is a very high octane offense, which is what he did in Alabama. Like I think have some fun, bring him with Tyreek and weapons like Waddle.
But the problem with Miami, and I said this to you guys earlier, like one of the biggest issues with Miami is they will never admit their mistakes. Chris Greer as a GM is not someone that wants to admit that he was wrong. He is the opposite of John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. Yeah, so if they trade for Bryce Young, I think that's them essentially saying, if they bring in any veteran quarterback, that's them essentially saying, I don't know if Tua can do this.
Spin zone. Maybe they had a really high draft grade on Bryce Young last year. So the front office is like, oh, actually, we would have taken him with the first overall, so we can get him right now for a second.
You're saying the Dolphins, though?
I don't know. Is there any other team that would want Bryce Young? Like anyone that we can think of? Because I quite literally
the Titans
cannot.
But why would they want that?
No, because then they're going to deal with the same shit. I saw such a funny and good take out of this guy on TikTok. I can't remember who it was, but they were like, someone needs to give Jacoby Brissett a medal for being willing to just sit behind that terrible offensive line in New England and with those terrible weapons and get fucking assaulted day after day so that they don't stunt Drake May's development.
I got a team.
So that's what good organizations do.
I got two teams. The first is the Rams.
Yes, love.
Matthew Stafford's not getting any younger.
Love.
Cooper Kupp hurt. Puka Nacua hurt. What's one way to keep Sean McVay active in this? Because we know that there's always been rumors with Sean McVay wanting to retire. Have a project. Bryce Young, former first overall quarterback, learns under a former first overall quarterback.
Yeah, wow.
I love that.
That's such a good one.
That makes so much sense in the world.
That's the right answer.
I saw a 3-team trade. I don't know if you guys saw this with Chase Daniel. Chase Daniel
put up terrible though. His trade offer was bananas.
Well, I'm not talking about the actual trade. I'm just talking about like the theory of moving around. The Chase Daniel trade was Matthew Stafford to the Dolphins, which will literally never happen because the Dolphins will not admit their mistakes. Bryce Young to the Rams, and what was the last one?
Someone's got to go to the Panthers.
I think it was just picks.
I think it's a bunch of picks. Yeah,
I think it was just picks. They just
stupid
replenished.
trade. Matt Stafford's not going anywhere.
Yeah, the last team I thought of is actually the Seahawks. Geno,
Another good one, yeah.
I think Geno's a guy that, like, he's doing well, but, like, you could have him sit behind Geno for another year, potentially. They have a shit ton of weapons. You might have Bryce Young with 2 to 3 more years on that rookie deal, right? Because last year was his first year. This is second. With JSN, right now, all the timings and the contracts work out. That's a scary offense. So, yeah, I think Bryce Young should be traded. I think the Panthers should move on.
I think you have to admit you fucked this one up and get cut bait while there's still any value
But you got to do
there.
it now.
Yeah,
wait,
you do.
You're screwed.
You got to get it done before the deadline. That's literally the only.
I don't think they will, but yeah,
They won't.
I don't think they have.
He's gonna
I don't
sit
think they have
behind
the
for a
balls
year.
to admit that. Holy shit, we really got this one wrong.
Well,
I don't think they're
yeah,
gonna do it.
because then you come after Dave Tepper and the whole
Yeah.
you go after fans don't even want to show up to games. There's so much money involved into that question. But I feel badly for Panthers fans.
I feel bad for Bryce
Actually,
Young.
no, I take it back. I don't. They
I
went to
do.
a Super Bowl before I even won a playoff game.
Okay,
Wow.
fair. No, fair. Totally
No,
fair.
yeah.
And you had
that's-
an MVP quarterback. Like
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
would do for that.
Yeah.
My quarterback can't say.
Someone
feel bad.
someone asked us the other night, Cam Newton or
Yeah,
Tom
prime
Brady
Cam
in
Newton or prime Tom
Just
Brady.
like fun.
But like Cam Newton MVP season.
Like
Cam
seriously,
Newton.
right? I think
Newton.
so.
He was
because it's
so
fun
electric.
to root for.
Yeah.
Superman.
That was so cool. I feel bad for Bryce Young. They gave that guy no chance to succeed.
I don't know if you guys have any thoughts about Lions Cardinals. Sneaky game, but
It should have been a more fun game, and it started hot, and then no one scored a point for the rest of the game.
yeah.
That's all. The Lions good. Cardinals frisky. They'll float around 500. Lions will probably win the NFC North. I don't have much to talk about on that game.
I think there's not much to say. I think the Cardinals are actually, I think they're a good football team. I think they're building. They're heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
The Lions, I think, have regressed from last year, from the team that we knew in the playoffs. I think Jared Goff looks worse. I think the Lions are a team that can win a playoff game, but they're not right now. When I look at the Lions, they're not a team that can go win the NFC.
They were supposed to be a top 5 Super Bowl contender, and they have not looked like that.
And I said this last time I was on the pod. Like, I don't think that this team will ever get back to what they once were last year.
Yeah, you
I don't
said
think
that.
they
It's a great
can.
take.
I just don't think that this team with Jared Goff. I know Amon-Ra St. Brown is great. Jameer Gibbs, great running back. I love him in fantasy as well. I just do not believe that they have what it takes in Dan Campbell to go and actually go on another run like that.
Yeah.
That was a once in a generational type run, and I think that. Sorry, Detroit, you guys
Yeah,
are going
that's
to
fucked up to
continue to
say.
be mediocre.
It's fair. I mean, you had that take early on, by the way, that
I
you
know.
said that the Lions will be a flash in the frying pan. I don't want to spend as much time talking about the Lions because I just don't know what they exactly are. They're 2-1. They can get hot. It's still early in the season, but when I look at the team right now, I don't think that team is posing the same level of threat that they did late in the playoffs.
As a Bears fan, I'm not scared of them at all right now.
What about a team that you should be scared of? The Minnesota fucking Vikings. Dude. I believe this, and everyone wants to clown Jack, and I fucking love it because they should. Jack said that the Minnesota Vikings were going to be 0-6 through the first 6 games of the NFL season, and I fought back. Well, guess what? Skull. We're 3-0, baby.
The
We're
Purple
3-0.
People Eaters.
I think the Minnesota Vikings actually have the best offense in the NFL right now.
Okay,
Oh.
that's an overreaction.
No. I genuinely. But by
That's
the way,
an overreaction.
from an efficiency standpoint,
Sure.
there's no better
Wait, is
quarterback
it better
right
than the
now.
Saints?
Don't talk efficiency to me, nerd.
What do you mean?
I don't care.
There's only one
I
quarterback
test.
in the NFL that has thrown 8 touchdown passes.
Sam
Sam
Darnold.
Darnold. He has the highest pass rating in the NFL right now. Justin Jefferson looks like far and away the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Aaron Jones looks electric in purple.
Incredible.
Also, just looks exactly like Dalvin Cook and
Exactly.
Alexander
it's
Madison.
insane. And
Who's hurt right now? Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson also still hurt.
they beat the shit out of the 49ers and the Texans. The NFL loves the Texans. Us fans love the Texans. I don't know why I keep saying we. They made CJ Stroud look like he was absolutely nobody. They took their 3 weapons away. They did absolutely not. Stephon Diggs had a good game. But the only time that they potentially scored was like late in the game. The Vikings are scary. And you want to know why the Vikings, I think, could even take this best offense in the NFL, run with it, and potentially be an actual contender? It's because Brian Flores' defense. The number one reason that this Vikings team is legit is because this defense. They're playing lights out and potentially the best football out of anyone. They're playing complimentary football. They're getting off the field. Like, they are just executing. Like, when you look at the Minnesota Vikings, there's no reason that you should say that they are frauds because they beat the Niners and they beat the Texans. 2 teams that people think are the 2 of the better teams in the NFL. They beat the shit out of
2
them.
top 5 teams that they curb stomped.
My only question about the Minnesota Vikings
Sam
is
Darnold.
can Sam Darnold
Sure.
actually do this?
very fair question.
Is he going to be the guy that come Christmas time we were actually talking about as an MVP candidate? I don't see that in my future.
I don't think that he needs
I
to
just
be
don't
for
see-
them to be that team, though.
But like that is literally what they need right now to win games.
No, I mean they could have scored a lot less points and still won because that defense is shutting everyone down on the other side of the ball. I do think Sam Darnold can be that guy. He's in Kevin O'Connell's system, which has shown quarterbacks can be very successful in. And Sam Darnold was the 3rd overall pick at one point in time. He was stunted by the New York Jets, and we know that he has the skills and talent and intangibles to be a great quarterback in this league. There was a reason he was drafted as high as he was, and now he's being surrounded by weapons and a competent coach. And I think this is who Sam Darnold is. I don't think he's going to keep this level up. I don't think he's going to be leading the league in touchdowns come week 14.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to have the Vikings 11-6, 10-7. I don't think they're going to be a contender, but I think they'll certainly make the playoffs. But contenders, you think, Adam, you think Super Bowl contender?
I think that if the Vikings can play the way that they're playing right now, where the offense is executing and Jettis is being Jettis and Aaron Jones looks like Green Bay Packers Aaron Jones, and then Sam Darnold is not making the mistakes that you've been accustomed to seeing, and then Brian Flores could have this defense humming the way he has, there's no reason to say that they can't be the Lions of last year. Like, why can't they? The Lions of last year were just purely executing with talent. Right now, Sam Darnold and this Vikings team are executing all over the field. There is no reason to say that they can. And I think the biggest reason that Jack, of all people, had them going 0-6 is because the start of their season was fucking atrocious.
Yeah,
Like,
that's fair. They're getting
who
out
they
of a
play week
gauntlet.
1?
They play the Giants.
Okay, Giants are not a good team. But you had the Niners.
And then the Texans.
And then you had the Texans.
2 of the top 5 teams in football.
I'm going to go
through
through the Vikings schedule, and you just tell me. We played this game, right? We said
new record season prediction?
We are going to do. I don't know if we're going to actually go through like a whole thing of like an actual video, but I am curious. Like
rapid fire.
Rapid fire. The Minnesota Vikings are 3-0 right now. I want to update their schedule prediction because Jack had them going 0-6, and a lot of people on our TikTok live giving us shit. So they got through some 2 tough games. They've blown the fucking brakes off the Texans 34-7, and they snuck by the 49ers.
I'm going to be extremely hard on them here. Like, I'm going to think worst case scenario for them because I want to see, like, even if things go wrong from here, how good can they end up?
Okay, I was going to say more so just like see the team that they've been and like why can't they win a certain game.
I know.
Okay, next week, Packers in Green Bay.
Loss.
Then the Jets at home.
Well, it's in London.
Oh, it's in London? Ooh, that's tough.
I will abstain.
I think they lose.
Okay, Lions.
Where?
At home.
Win.
Rams away.
Win.
Vikings at Colts at home.
Win. 6-2 now.
Jags on the road.
Loss.
Feels trappy.
It's a 1 p.m.?
1 p.m.
Jags at 1 p.m.
Yeah, feels trappy. 6-3.
Titans on the road. They
Win.
play Vikings at Titans.
7-3.
Vikings at Bears.
I'll go loss for the Bears. Loss for the Vikings.
Cardinals at Vikings.
So 7-4, I believe.
7
Not
4.
even counting.
Who'd you say?
Cardinals at Vikings.
Cardinals at Vikings. I think that's a tough place to play. The bank. Give me 8-3.
Falcons at Vikings.
Falcons at Vikings.
Falcons.
I think the Vikings at home.
I think the Vikings win that one. Yeah.
Bears.
No. Kirk Cousins revenge game.
You're right. Loss.
Oh, yeah. Loss.
Sorry. Bears at Vikings.
Win for the Vikings.
Vikings at Seahawks. Late in the season.
Who knows? That could be a really good game.
Okay. Let's just say loss for the sake of
Loss.
it. Packers at Vikings. Vikings win because it's at home.
Yep, win.
Vikings at Lions potentially for the division.
Wow. Loss.
In a dome.
Loss.
It's probably a loss, but there's some winnable games on that schedule. And that's the point I'm trying to make. They're 3-0 right now. I think the Dolphins. I think the Vikings.
They're not 3-0.
The Vikings baseline over the course of the next 14 games is to go 500. And I think there's a higher probability of them beating a 500 level record than it is to go 500.
I think they will, right now I'll say it, they will definitely make the playoffs. They will not remotely be a Super Bowl contender.
We just gave them 11-6, by the way.
11-6.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But
That's
by the way,
team.
like we're reacting to the first 3 weeks. Things can change. Obviously, like the Lions became ridiculous. But at the same time, the Lions last year started 7-0, 8-0.
Yeah.
So I think we could see some similarities between the Vikings
also,
and the
like,
Lions.
the craziest thing about this entire discussion is J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah. No, if the Vikings win a playoff game with Sam Darnold, J.J. McCarthy doesn't touch the field next
Then
year.
what do you do with him?
No, you let him
You
sit.
let him sit.
You let him
It's the
sit,
same
but-
Jordan Love.
But
Let
then,
him sit.
what if Sam Darnold, I'm sure you could give him a big contract. Like, you could get him forever.
No,
Is he on a one-year
you
deal?
let JJ sit.
I don't know, man.
Any other high level thoughts on the NFC North?
Packers is really good.
Really good.
They're
But
2-0 without.
wait.
I know, but they're 2-0 without Jordan Love. They won ugly games that they had to with a quarterback that they signed a week before his first start. I'm very interested to see what the Packers look like when Jordan Love gets back. And I hate to say this to my buddy, old boy Tycho, the Bears are far and away the worst team in that division, and it's not close.
We're going to circle back to that in 1 second. Matt LaFleur is good.
Yes.
Matt LaFleur might be.
He might be the best coach in the NFL right now.
Andy Reid.
Okay, fine.
It's like Patrick Mahomes. The list starts at 2.
Yeah, the list starts at 2.
Matt LaFleur right now. God, I wish. Like another great example for the Dolphins. Malik Willis was signed right before the NFL season, literally 4 days before, and he changed the entire game plan, and they ran the ball 32 times against the Colts, and then this fucking week, Malik Willis goes in for a revenge game against Tennessee.
Balled out.
And he played well.
No, yeah. What he can do with that offense right now is very scary. Is a team that is in the NFC North. Currently, sure, I'll say it. The Bears might be the worst team. Might be.
No, the Bears are the worst team.
Bears are the
NFC
worst
North.
team. The Lions, Vikings, and Packers are all really good, and the Bears aren't.
Like, objectively, you're 1 and 2. So, like, I think there's no other 1 and 2 teams.
Yeah, if we want to just point at the record, but like eye test too, you guys are far and away the worst.
Caleb Williams looks.
We show flashes though.
Yeah, so do
He
the
had-
Dolphins.
He had 300+ yards today. You can't take that away from him.
You can't.
true.
He was the leading passer.
How many
That is
turnovers?
3.
That's no good, is it?
But I did see this on Twitter, and we'll move off it, is that people are saying, and I'm not going to overreact to Caleb Williams, just obviously.
Wait, how are we gonna fucking overreact to Caleb Williams when he doesn't have a competent offensive coordinator? Like, how are we going to
offensive
judge Caleb Williams based on this offense that we're looking at when he's not being given any help around him?
So you're
He has
blaming-
no offensive line.
You're blaming the Bears' struggles on Shane Waldron, is what you're saying.
Shane Waldron should be fired.
I'm blaming the offensive line.
Well,
I'm not.
Have you not watched the games I've watched?
Hold on.
Yeah.
The offensive line is bad, but I
Awful.
don't know if there's been videos
They
going
looked
around
today.
on Twitter where literally today, of all
Yeah.
days, he had the cleanest pocket in the world. He didn't step up in the pocket. They force a fumble. He has no pocket presence. Like, that was the actual argument going on Twitter, is that the pocket presence is not there.
Does that scare you?
No, he's a rookie. He's gonna develop.
He's going to learn.
I'm okay with us losing games this year. This was not our Super Bowl year. Let's be 6-11 this year. Go get another solid draft pick. I'm okay with that.
I think you guys got to cut bait
By the
with
way,
Shane
that's a,
Waldron.
that's a good take.
like, I've gone all the way from we could be 10-7 to like, let's just make it through the season
Let's
with
tank.
everyone healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. by
Sorry,
the way,
like, that's
you're-
I
like
also,
that.
just a real quick point on Shane Waldron. How do motherfuckers like him keep getting jobs in
how do
the
motherfuckers
NFL?
like Arthur Smith keep getting jobs?
That
doesn't
perfect
make any
example, like
fucking
that
sense.
Shane Waldron, Arthur Smith, Adam Gase, same type of guy, just has shown time and time again that he's not good at the job that he's paid to do,
You have no
and yet
success.
he keeps getting hired to different teams, being like, "Oh, maybe he'll strike lightning
Like-
in a bottle with my fucking team." Like, he's bad at his
Who
job.
was- Who was interviewing these guys?
I don't get it.
Well,
Can you explain?
Yeah, you're the nerd here.
Yeah.
You're the front office
Why
nerd.
do shitty offensive coordinators keep getting opportunities?
I think this is just a theory. I think that there's a handful of NFL head coaches and front offices that are afraid to allow the wheel to be reinvented.
Yes, very good.
And
Yeah, that's what I
therefore
think too.
have worked with someone in the past that might have worked with this person in the past, and it is a relationships business. And when you have people that you could theoretically trust,
Nepotism.
your job is a lot safer. So I think the Arthur Smiths of the world, the Shane Waldron, it's like, well, hey, they were there, and he had these, look what he did with, look what Geno Smith was able to do for, a few moments. We could get that, right?
I'm also thinking back to when the Bears said, "Oh no, we're gonna go get the Canadian football Mark Trestman as our head coach and OC," and that just
That's not a good.
blew up right now.
But then again, maybe the opposite side doesn't work on that, where like you go get Mike McDaniel and like, yeah, it's fun for a little bit, but right now I'm pointing the finger at Mike McDaniel. So
No, exactly.
who's
Yeah.
fucking actually winning?
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes. There's not much to actually talk about from this matchup, but I do think it is insane that the Giants were able to beat the Browns in Cleveland.
I don't even think it's that crazy. I think Deshaun Watson is just that ass.
Can we talk about
I think
That's
he's that
fair.
ass.
Malik Neighbors is saving Daniel Jones' career?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, like Daniel Jones throws up 50-50 balls. Malik Neighbors is like, all right, mine. And then the Moss was,
He's so motherfucking good.
He's so good.
So good.
Of the, this just came to me, of the, like, when you think of wide receivers that recently came out of the draft, like in the first round, you think of Jettis, CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase.
Garrett Wilson.
Would you
Malik
actually?
Neighbors.
No, well, Malik, yes, but that's where I'm going with it. Would you act like? Don't take this the wrong way, because by the way, I wanted to throw Waddle in there, and I'm just not going to. He's not.
Yeah,
not
no, I
going
mean,
to.
it's I think you have to respect Garrett Wilson for having back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons with the quarterbacks he did. That's really hard to do.
I agree, but where I'm going with this is like, I think you could put Malik Neighbors into that upper echelon, alpha, elite, round one wide receivers with Jamar, Jettis, and CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
I can't think of others right now in the last couple years. I'm saying,
Maybe DK when he came out. Like he
but
came
DK
out.
was in the second
DK's
round.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like he was, but I feel like you're talking about that big-bodied one wide receiver.
But
that
Malik's
can,
not that big. Malik's like 6'1", right?
I think he's pretty big.
Well, he plays big, but like it's the same with Jamar. Jamar's 6'1".
Yeah.
You think Jamar's bigger?
He's
Malik Neighbors is there. There's a high probability that Malik Neighbors is a Jamar Chase, a CeeDee Lamb, a Jettis. Like we're looking at a guy that just like fits the mold of the most elite alpha wide receiver that you want. The absolute X, the TOs like of the world. Like this dude he's a dude.
Okay,
He is
having
him.
having seen 3 weeks of football, Are you upset as the Cardinals having drafted Marvin Harrison over Malik Neighbors?
Because I think he's right there with him.
Do you though?
I really do. Like, look at his one quarter, as you guys want to point out, but like they were up by so much they didn't need to keep throwing the ball. This week he was going up against guys and making catches for Kyler. Like, I don't know, man. I don't think we can discredit Marvin Harrison Jr. because he's not making the highlight reel catch on every single possession. Like,
well, first of all, Malik Neighbors, 6 foot, 200 pounds.
Wow.
That's
I
crazy.
would have said 6'3", 220.
Exactly. Plays big.
Plays real
when I
big.
think of the Malik Marvin Harrison, I think if you give Marvin Harrison Jr. 20 targets a game the same way Malik Neighbors has, he's probably doing a similar thing. But they're a completely different build. So I don't hate if people are upset. Like, I could see why you'd be upset about having Marvin Harrison Jr. and not Malik Neighbors, because like they're just two completely different types of wide receivers.
He's just Malik Neighbors is really fun to watch, and I think like you said, like he's the answer to Daniel Jones's problems. It's sometimes you do need to give your not so good quarterback an extremely good weapon, and it will elevate his game.
Yeah. But we glazed over the Browns side of it. Like I think the Browns thing is the most important response to the Giants-Browns game, and that's the Deshaun Watson experiment has to be done.
Needs to be over.
It's over with. There's no coming back from it. If you cannot beat the New York Giants at home, what are you to expect? Like I genuinely like, and I on the field wanted Deshaun Watson for so many years. Like I genuinely believe that this dude was an amazing talent on the fucking field, but whatever happened on that table, that dude has not come back.
No, I mean, you know what happened is he got a fully guaranteed $230 million contract, and there was nothing to play for. There's nothing to play for.
I just had an epiphany.
Yeah.
Were the Bears correct to take Mitch Trubisky instead of Deshaun Watson?
No.
Well, you should have taken Pat Mahomes.
Correct. But if we didn't take Patrick Mahomes, was it then Mitch Trubisky? Like, looking at how bad Deshaun Watson...
No, because I and this sounds crazy because I have no idea how it actually happens, but the psychological aspect of what happened with Deshaun Watson has clearly turned him from arguably a top 5 elite quarterback to one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. A guy that struggles with decision making, can't stay healthy, can't throw the ball downfield,
dude, it's
inaccurate.
Complacency. Like he got his fucking bag. He doesn't care anymore. He's clearly not a guy that's capable of leading a team to a Super Bowl. He has the money that you show up to the NFL to that he dreamed of as a kid. He got the $230 million, and his entire reputation's tarnished. Even if he led the Browns to the Super Bowl, no one's going to be like, hurrah, Deshaun Watson, we all love you again because you won a Super Bowl. No, everyone still thinks he's a piece of shit. So he's just like, okay, I'll take my money. I'll play out my contract. Everyone's going to fucking hate me, but I'm going to ride off into the sunset $230 million richer. What do I care? That's what's happened.
Well, I think he cares, but I actually think that might be the problem. I think he's overcompensating.
You do?
I think when he drops back, I don't know, like, if you watch a full game of the Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson drops back, and he looks like he's jumping around. Like, he is just so... There's no poise with Deshaun Watson. He's just so reckless with the ball. We've seen those videos where he's throwing the ball backwards and whatnot. Like, Deshaun Watson does not look like the Deshaun Watson in the past.
Well, that probably comes from prepping. He's probably not prepping as hard as he once was. He's probably not doing his homework.
Treatment. Like,
okay. Did you not mean that as a pun?
I did, but like that's I'm not trying to be funny with, like, it's serious. Like
I think
something happened to Deshaun Watson on the table.
What happened is that he was exposed for being a fucking creep and a weirdo, and now everyone knows it. And you could try as hard as you want to push that into the past by playing great football, but he's not doing that. And now it's like a constant funny thing of like, not only is he a piece of shit off the field, he's also a piece of shit on the field.
It's gotta end.
He's done. He's got to move on.
He has like no flashes.
Give us fucking Jameis Winston, man. You know how fucking fun that would be on the Browns?
They will be a good team in the AFC North.
I think we might be 2 to 3 weeks away from Kevin Stefanski benching Deshaun Watson.
And then what do you do?
Well, you let Jameis ride it out.
I know, but like, what do you do with that contract?
So people are saying like you can't cut him. Like the dead cap is
I don't know how that works.
ridiculous.
You tell me like what happens?
No, like literally
the only way out is he gets suspended one more time.
Yes. That the only way, and by the way...
And new shit came out recently, right?
Exactly.
So they're just crossing their fingers. It's true.
It would not shock me if in the offseason shit comes to light, because the Cleveland Browns... Look, the NFL wins. All these owners have money. They're going to try and get him out. The Haslams, like, they're scumbags. They're going to try and get Deshaun Watson out. I think it's the only way to kind of get out from this fucking...
I think to what you said earlier, too, of like good organizations own up to their mistakes, cut bait early, and move on and start problem solving. They are going to ride this ship to the bottom of the ocean.
And
no
by the way,
matter how long it
Kevin Stefanski might
takes.
lose a job as a result.
Oh, yeah, I bet. He was coach of the year 2 years ago, right?
Yeah. Last year.
Last year?
Yeah, with Joe Flacco.
Oh, my God.
Was he really last year? No, I thought he won it
2 years ago?
I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping.
Coach of the year. 2023.
How about Joe Flacco's year last year?
Yeah, it was Kevin Stefanski
Wow.
last year.
Yeah, Browns, you lost to the Giants. That's all you got to say at the end of the year. At home.
Yeah, we got a few more things to talk about.
Let's
wrap up.
Let's rip.
Fire.
Oh, and the Saints
Go marching in. Oh, and the Saints go marching back to earth because you're not that good. You're not as good as everyone thought you were after 2 weeks. Welcome back to earth, Saints and Bucks.
Yeah,
Because I love the Bucks probably as much as anybody out there. I love Baker Mayfield. Can't lose that game. And not lose, get skunked start to finish. But Saints too. Just
all right, let's break down the Saints side first.
Let's go. Yeah, 1-1.
I weirdly thought that there was something takeaway for me where I actually enjoyed that the Saints were not putting up points again because it's like, all right, you're sticking around. This feels like the Saints on a 1 o'clock game. When Scott Hansen talks about the Saints, it's like, this is what I thought. This is what I'm used to.
7-6 in the third quarter.
Yeah,
cool.
Chris Olave scores, looks good for the fantasy team. That's the team I'm looking for.
No, they're the team that blocks the punt and then fumbles the next play.
Yeah. Well, Taysom Hill wasn't in the game, so he was injured. Welcome back to earth. Yeah, there's not much to say to it. This team, what that offense? You thought they were going to score on 15 plays, 25 plays, keep going. The Saints do not have that offense. And I think at some point I saw this stat one time. The Saints, I think they run 2 wide receiver sets more than any team in the NFL. The highest rate. They don't even run 3 wide receiver sets. So Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave are not going to be these are not alpha Malik Neighbors and Jamar Chase on the outside and just run with these fucking guys. Alvin Kamara's older. He looks great. He looks sick in fantasy. Don't get me wrong. He's going to keep producing. But when I look at the Saints offense, they don't pose fucking fear in my eyes. They don't strike fear in my eyes. The defense looks good, but yeah, welcome back down to earth.
Speaking of Rashid Shaheed, I just want to read you the text conversation between the Handshake Bets co-owners and the 50K league. So I'll go verbatim. I text, how do we feel about our flex spot? Right now we're starting JSN and Rashid Shaheed with Tank Dell and Jerome Ford on the bench. James goes, I like Ford. Tycho goes, I don't love Shaheed. James goes, I like Ford over Rashid. Think his long playmaking is going to end. Giants suck ass. Jerome should run all over them. I respond the next day, I really, really like Shaheed, but can be overruled. Tycho goes, I just looked. Don't think we really need to change the lineup. Oh, okay. And then so you weren't there. And then I go, James goes, Ford is a safer play in my opinion, but Rashid can still have one of those big plays. I just think Browns-Giants game is going to be 13-10, and Saints-Eagles is going to be 31-28.
Oh my God.
I'm also worried Deonta Foreman's going to get 50% of the work. That didn't happen either.
I
fucking misread both of those games so hard.
Deonta Foreman, anytime touchdown scorer.
Same in every.
What did he actually?
Nothing. Literally nothing. I started him in one league.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, this team I have is bad in this other league. I started him and Quentin Johnson in the same starting lineup.
Quentin Johnson worked out.
It did work out. I felt very
Rashid
frisky on that
terrible
one.
in fantasy.
Yeah.
What about the Bucks? Thoughts?
I don't know. What the fuck was that?
Bucky Irving's backfield. That's all I got.
I got that, but what the fuck, Bucks?
Bro, 26-7 is a curb stomp.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, it was. So what happened too? So Broncos score on the opening drive at 7-0. I sound the live line alarm. I go, Bucks are even money. It's -120. You can get them at right now. Deploy the live bet budget that you have, and we all did. And then as the game progressed, we were like, Vegas fucking knew. They were a 6.5 point favorite. They gave up 1 touchdown and they're down to even money. That's fishy. And instead of having that mindset, we're just like, oh, even money. All my money on it. And then they got fucking skunked.
Yeah,
start to finish.
I've had a really tough start to the year in fantasy at the quarterback position.
Who'd you start today?
You started Baker Mayfield.
Week 1, a league that I really care about, Jordan Love. Goes down with an injury.
He played the whole game though.
Wasn't great though.
Yeah, no, not good.
Week 2, I'm gonna ride with my guy, Tua Tagovailoa.
No fuck.
He gets 5 points.
Yeah, week 3.
Actually, I think it was -5 points.
Jesus.
Week 3, I'm like, you know what? He's been good. There's no way he can be any worse than 14 points. I just need to get some points on the board. Let's rock Baker Mayfield.
What did he do?
5 points.
Yikes.
No way. That might be the worst quarterback room ever.
And I don't know what to do. I just hope Jordan Love comes back now because now I'm wasting roster spots on 2 quarterbacks. And I don't want to do that at all.
I don't know what that game was though. I don't know what happened to the Buccaneers. Are they maybe just not as good as we thought? They beat the Commanders and then they beat the Lions, who apparently aren't as good as we thought. Also, so maybe the Bucs are just somewhere in the middle.
I think they played down to their competition. I think the Bucs are a team. Yeah, I think the Bucs are a team that will do that a lot. A lot of NFL teams do that. So I think look. We talk about bounce back letdown all the time. They came to this game. They definitely overlooked the fucking Broncos, and they came in and got curb stomped. So whoever the fucking Bucs play next week, hammered them.
Yep.
Interesting.
What?
I don't know. I just feel like the offense just wasn't clicking. Like
Nothing clicked.
yeah.
Godwin did.
Bo Nix looked good.
Bo
That's all you need to
Nix
know.
did look actually
Good. I do give him credit. But we were talking about this. Obviously, the Bucs were a team that could have been 3-0.
But they're not.
They're not. The Saints are a team could have been 3-0.
But they're not.
But they're not. But there are two teams that are 3-0 right now. And there are two teams that I think are probably in the pretender category of being 3-0. It's the Seahawks and the Steelers.
Yeah.
Who do you have more faith in the Steelers or the Seahawks? Like, these are two 3-0 teams that I don't know what to fucking expect out of them. I don't know what to make of them because I can't look at the Seahawks win and see them beat the Dolphins and feel good about it because the offense was good for maybe a quarter and a half, and then the Dolphins defense was able to hold them. And then you got the Steelers, who, like, I don't trust Arthur Smith. There's not really any talent.
Yet.
They haven't done anything. I'm not afraid of the Chargers.
Are we talking like power rankings or like are we talking who is more of a contender in their division?
However you see it.
Okay, so I'll start here. I think the Seahawks have a way better chance to win their division at this point in time just because of all the injuries in the rest of the division.
Yeah.
And like I think that Geno Smith is competent enough to lead that offense, score enough points. It's Seattle's defense. I still think of the Legion of Boom every single time I see the Seahawks.
So fair.
It's like
I mean,
they probably
have
have a solid
locked up.
They probably have a solid defense. Yeah, exactly. And then I look at the Steelers and it's like, okay, I know the Justin Fields experience. Can you win enough games by kicking field goals and playing good defense? I don't know personally.
Yeah.
But in that division where it's like the Browns suck, the Ravens look good. You're probably not a scary team.
No, I think I do have more faith in the Steelers though, just because of
just
how
history.
and how good that defense is, bro. Like that defense is probably the best in football. TJ Watt has a claim to the best defensive player in football. And I do think there's a little bit of a learning curve with Justin Fields. He wasn't QB1 in camp. They said Russell Wilson was the starting quarterback. And you have to imagine the offense you're going to run with Justin Fields versus Russell Wilson is pretty different. They play a very different style of quarterback. And I do think Justin Fields is good. And I do think the Steelers are an organization that can bring out the best in Justin Fields. I don't know who their OC is, but the Steelers have
Arthur Smith.
Oh,
I don't know if
Stop.
he could bring
Can
out
we
the best
stop?
one. Well,
Can
he
we-
did have. Did Arthur Smith have Marcus Mariota?
Yeah.
I think he did.
Was he part of that Titans like that far back?
Yeah, so that doesn't give me a lot of confidence. But just I hung out with James and Tycho a little too much. These Bears fans a little too much. I think Justin Fields has talent in him.
Same.
I think the Steelers, if there's any organization that can bring the best out of their players, the Steelers are one of those organizations. They're like the Patriots. They're like the 49ers. They're like the Packers. They're just an organization that's always going to be there. They're always going to be relevant. They're always going to be good. And that defense is a championship caliber defense. The offense is never going to be championship caliber, but I think the offense can get to good enough to be 11-6 at the end of the season.
I actually could not agree more. Like if the question is who do I have more faith in as a 3-0 team, it's the Steelers. Like the Steelers with Mike Tomlin, with worse teams, have been able to be above 500. And right now they're 3-0 with a quarterback that they did not expect to start. And they're going to get better on the offensive side of the ball. They are going to constantly improve. When I look at the defense is loaded. You added Patrick Queen. Like that whole defense just feels like a completely different animal. Now, granted, they haven't really played anyone. They haven't played teams where you like need to score the ball. It was Justin Fields' best game.
He made a throw today.
Hands down.
He made a throw today that made me regret
Trading him?
like everything. Yeah.
Wow, really?
It was a throw over the middle, and I got emotional. I was like, fuck, like that could have been the guy that's throwing the Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Romo.
Justin Fields was 25 of 32, 245 yards, a touchdown, and INT. But his QBR was 55.4, 96 passer rating. Look, they haven't played anyone. You're 3-0. But I don't trust the Seahawks. You have a rookie,
here's the thing,
you have a rookie
too.
head
Look.
coach, and you're in a tough division with like the Niners right now are injury ridden.
So the Steelers have a Week 9 bye. I'm going to just give you guys the next 5 games. Like I think they can very easily go into the bye 6-2. So they play the Colts next week. They play the Cowboys after that, the Raiders after that, then the Jets, then the Giants. I think they could go 3-2 in those
They could
games.
easily go 3-2.
Easily. And then they're
They lose to the
6-2 going into a
Cowboys.
Week 9 playoff.
Yeah.
I think they lose to the Cowboys, but I don't think the Colts. I overreacted to the
Where
Colts
is that
Week 1.
game?
That is in Indy.
Those are sneaky.
Sneaky.
Those are sneaky.
But I think they beat the Raiders, and I think they beat the Giants. It's really just can they beat the Jets or the Colts? But they're even 5-3.
This is such a classic Russell Wilson experience.
Yeah,
Like,
what
it's
do you
just
think he's
like-
thinking right now?
Like he picks Pittsburgh. He literally said, "I want to go here,"
I feel bad.
and now he's probably not even get the starting nod.
I
Again.
feel a little bad for
Do you
us.
if if and when
He should go to
Justin Fields
Miami.
loses, just stop. If and when by the way, yes. If and when Justin Fields ends up losing, you don't put Russell Wilson in the game, right? Like there's more upside, there's more time with Justin Fields to say, I need to take a chance than there is with Russell Wilson. Like, what are we getting?
He's the
Russell
hardest
Wilson
quarterback
for?
to move away from because he
It's-
gives you so much
just gives you those
fucking
four-
hope.
This
This
is
is
every
his fourth
week.
year.
Fourth year. Yeah.
So yeah, like you want to see if he's worth giving a fifth year to.
Yeah.
Why not play him the entire year
I
if
think
he's
you
winning
have
football
to.
games?
I genuinely think you have to.
I
Because
think
like
so,
you
too.
know what Russell Wilson is. You could say this. Okay, let's just hypothetically say that you are going to get 70% of what Russell Wilson used to be.
I'll take what Justin Fields can be.
I might still take the percentage of what Justin Fields can do. That's kind of my point. So I think no.
this motherfucker.
he knows better than us. We're talking as unbiased third-party observers. He's lived this experience.
Like, if you need to go win a game tomorrow and you tell me I have Russell Wilson at 70% or Justin Fields, I'm taking Russell Wilson.
I get it.
Like I've seen Justin throw games away. I've also seen him win games. But like Russ is a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Okay, but the last 2 years,
like a
Russ,
decade ago.
you saw what we saw.
Well, no, Russ was good last year. He was
I know
good
he was
last year.
fine.
like he was he was good on a shitty team.
Look, Russell Wilson took his profile picture for this season with the Steelers with eye black on. I don't want my
badass.
quarterback to do that.
I love Russ.
cares?
I think
He's
his
so
dorky.
corny,
I
it's
think his
funny.
dorky
No,
corniness
I
is
just don't.
mad funny. I think it's just
I
comedy.
don't. I don't.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Let's move on with one last thing. The last game obviously was the first game of the week. And if you've been listening to the entire thing, it means the absolute world. And before we go into it, I want to talk to you about better picks.
One last time.
1000x payouts. We have been saying this time and time again. There is only a handful of daily fantasy games, daily fantasy apps, daily fantasy places where you can actually go from $1 to 1,000. But there's only one place where you can do it as easy as you can, and that's Better Picks.
Simple.
It's as simple as it gets. And not only that, Tycho, weren't you saying that we have the easiest ways to play multipliers from a five?
We have the highest
projection?
multipliers.
Yeah.
As soon as you get past a 4-pick lineup, you're now getting paid more to play on Better Picks.
Yeah, so if you go to the other guys, you're going to get less money if you hit a 5-pick lineup. It's that simple. So I
very
don't know what you're
simple.
doing. Play better because it's better.
And you know what? Download Better Picks and use promo code CAPSOFF.
Wow, that was very sweet of you. Thank you.
course.
So yeah, the last game, the first game, I had my time to speak. Tycho had his time to speak. Pat, Patricia, Patrick. Congratulations. Your quarterback looked like he was back.
this
I'm
is
going to
gonna
give you
feel
the
really
floor
good.
on
This is
Aaron
gonna-
Rodgers and the
this is gonna-
Jets.
this is gonna feel
on a
really,
Thursday night
really
divisional
good.
win. I will just react to whatever you have to say.
All right. I'll get right into it. The New York Jets are Super Bowl contenders with Aaron Rodgers playing quarterback like that, and there is not anything you can say to convince me
But that's
otherwise.
not. That's like the most lazy thing I've ever heard.
Whoa.
Because what do you mean? That's why you traded for Aaron Rodgers. It was like if Aaron Rodgers, we're gonna be Super Bowl contenders all fucking offseason. Have you not been saying if the team is healthy, we are Super Bowl contenders?
Someone's projecting because their team fucking sucks.
No,
my
what?
team's sick, and I have a quarterback that is
Wait
a
a
Hall of
second.
Famer.
Is that not how this whole offseason went? That the Jets are Super Bowl contenders. When you traded for Aaron Rodgers, the Jets are Super Bowl contenders.
The thing is, no one thought that Aaron Rodgers could return to Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, so we
Everyone
just
said,
fucking threw it
"Hey, you
out?
said you were gonna let me speak, asshat."
You're right.
Shut the fuck up.
You're right.
It's my fucking floor. I gave you your time
You're right.
to cry and moan, and I'm going to take my time to gloat and brag.
No, you're right.
Thank you. The New York Jets. The New York Jets can win the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers playing quarterback like that because he was mobile. He was getting out of the pocket, throwing the ball on the run, scrambling for first downs. And people forget that the Jets have offensive talent at every position. Breece Hall and Braylon Allen already have a claim to being the best 1-2 punch in football coming out of a backfield. I'll let you think and come up with an argument to that as I move on to my next one. Nope, I'm taking my guys. Garrett Wilson, he hasn't even clicked yet with Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers still looked that good. And then you have Mike Williams, who's just now getting healthy and going to be a bigger part of that offense. And then Allen Lazard and Aaron Rodgers, old buddies. But the biggest thing that the Jets have going for them is a retooled offensive line. They went out and fixed it in the offseason. They signed Tyron Smith. They signed John Simpson. They signed Morgan Moses. And you signed 2 old tackles. Someone's probably going to get hurt at some point. So what did they do? They did what smart organizations do and draft a first-round left tackle, Olu Fashanu, who came in and replaced Morgan Moses when he went down with an injury. And that's just what good teams do. And then, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, our defense is fucking back. I know we played the Patriots. Don't get me wrong. They're not good at offense, But they're an NFL team. We had 7 sacks. There was a stat I saw. I can't remember it exactly, but it was the Jets were the first team to ever have 400 total yards of offense, have 7 sacks, give up 0 touchdowns, and have 40-plus minutes of time of possession. First team to ever do that. So I'm going to go out and say it was the most dominant win in football history.
So because you guys beat up on the Patriots, you're not contenders?
Yes.
Remember that time the Dolphins put 70 on the Broncos?
Yes.
And we thought that they were like the best team of all time?
Yes.
Okay. That's where you're at right now?
Well, no,
Yes.
you just said most dominant, so I'm just saying like that was arguably way more dominant.
You guys gave up 20 points. We dominated both sides of the ball.
We gave up 20 in like the last 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah,
It was
we
over.
played the last 10 minutes of the game too. We didn't give up any points. But no, dude, look, I ranted a long time, so I do want your guys' honest opinions coming from non-Jets fans. Do you think that the Jets are actually remotely a contender?
Being a Dolphins fan, I will tell you that my whole group chat was literally like, holy shit, Aaron Rodgers looks like vintage Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And it's like, we've said this with Deshaun Watson. We've said this with other quarterbacks. Like, if they can get 70% of what he once was, they're going to be a scary fucking team. Well, that Aaron Rodgers was pretty much 85, 90% of what he once was.
96%.
And what I said to you before was that, like, everyone's been pointing as, like, the reason that the Jets, I think, are going to be a better offense is because you got Mike Williams. Now you look at the weapons. I actually think that the biggest upgrade for the Jets' Super Bowl contention on the offensive side of the ball is Braylon Allen.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to rely on Breece Hall. Braylon Allen can give you a 1-2 punch right now. He's a great receiver out of the backfield.
Sick.
Like, you have weapons everywhere. And as a
we do.
Dolphins fan, yes, I am accepting the fact that, like, Aaron Rodgers and this team could easily go win a Super Bowl, and it sucks. It fucking sucks. But I also know that the only thing that's going to make me feel better this year is when all this hype happens to crumbling down because you're the New York Jets.
Yeah, it's inevitable. I know that's the reality.
What goes up must come down.
Yeah, the Jets don't ascend. That's funny because Jets do literally ascend into the sky. But our Jets, they don't. They go down.
Unless
Also having lived through the Aaron Rodgers experience in the division, no, Aaron Rodgers can ascend a team, and it's fucking scary. And when he looks the way he did on Thursday, this is going to be a very good football team, and I don't think there's any denying that. Now, what I am worried about for you guys and your actual Super Bowl hopes is Braylon Allen actually going to be the guy.
Yeah.
Because he's had flashes.
He doesn't need to be,
Yeah.
bro. He needs to be a second fiddle to Breece Hall.
I genuinely think he is. Like, we've said this so many times. Like, Braylon Allen at Wisconsin was a better running back than Breece Hall at Iowa State.
Bro, he had 1,200 yards and 12 touchdowns as a 17-year-old freshman in the Big Ten.
He is 20 years old.
And he's truck-sticking
Like,
motherfuckers.
the other part to it is, like, if Breece Hall had to be a workhorse back early on, like, that's also a recipe for disaster, where later on, like, this dude may potentially get injured. The fact that he can have fresher legs going into the back half of the season, the fact that there are weapons, the Allen Lazards, and with Mike, and Mike is just starting to get going, and Aaron Rodgers, it hasn't even started clicking with Garrett Wilson. Like, I'm afraid for the offensive line.
I'm not.
But no,
Our offensive line's great.
because it's not great. You play the Patriots.
No, it's
but
really
like,
good.
No, it's not that good.
It's everyone was ranking it as a top 10 offensive line coming into the season.
okay
And
on paper.
they've played that way. So
you
far.
weren't that great the first 2 weeks.
We've given up 3 sacks on the season.
Okay,
It's not
well,
about, like,
it's
sacks, though, pressure.
No, the offensive line has been good.
okay. I think that in the same way that you say Jets ascend, there's also times where it just happens to come to a screeching halt.
Look, and I'm totally mentally prepared for that reality because I know it's coming. And as a Mets, Jets, Islanders, Knicks fan, this is a constant battle I have in my own head of just I know the pending doom that's coming my way. The Mets are probably going to lose the last 6 games of this season and miss the playoffs. That's just what my teams do. But
Hey, you might be the Dolphins of this year.
I'm going to leave you guys one last question here on the Jets. If we go out and trade for Devontae Adams, you saw the quotes from Antonio Pierce, so there's trouble in Las Vegas. If we go out and trade for Devontae Adams and manage to figure this shit out with Hassan Reddick and sign him to a deal, are the Jets a top 5 Super Bowl contender?
So I think the Jets are probably, it's very fair to say the Jets are a Super Bowl contender right now. Mm-hmm. You get Devontae Adams, the Jets have the best skill position, the best weapons in the NFL because you have Devontae, Garrett Wilson. That's probably the best 1-2 wide receiver punch. That's better than Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. That's better than Tyreek and Waddle. That's better than anything else in the NFL. You have Braylon Allen and Breece Hall. You just don't have a sexy tight end. Like, I think it's the best weapons in the NFL. And you have a guy that was a back-to-back MVP and one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history. Yes, you don't even need to say that Devontae Adams makes you a top 5 team in the NFL. Like, you're kind of there and have that trajectory. You get
Nice.
Devontae Adams, like, I'm calling it a bomb threat.
If you guys get Devontae Adams, it's stupid.
Yeah, it's wraps.
You've now reinvented the.
I hope you know that I'm like actively rooting for the hardest downfall of the Jets.
Yeah, and I'd pray on the Dolphins' downfall. It's what we do as rival teams and fans of those rival teams. I will end with this. There is no better feeling than the feeling I felt after Thursday night. I stayed up till almost 2 a.m. scrolling Twitter. I watched Aaron Rodgers highlights for literally hours, and it is the best feeling as a fan. It's literally what you dream of just like that game where everything you thought your team could be all comes together at once, and the dream and imagination that you had is a reality in front of you, and you can do what I just did and stand on my fucking soapbox and talk about how good my football team is. And it's just the best feeling on earth, and I'm totally mentally prepared to never feel it again.
You're describing how I felt with Mitch Trubisky.
Okay, don't compare Aaron Rodgers to Mitch Trubisky.
And then Justin Fields against the Falcons when we were in Hawaii.
Okay, don't compare Aaron Rodgers to Justin Fields. I think that should be it. I think he's getting tired.
I get it, because the Dolphins, when they put up 70, I literally was like just fully whacking off to that entire thing.
It's such a good feeling.
The Bears.
I'm happy for you, Pat.
Thank you. I appreciate
generally
that.
am happy
I do
for you. I
appreciate
feel like
that.
with having this podcast, I've had to find ways to just let go as much as possible. I still am holding on for dear life, like the back of a car being dragged with the fucking Dolphins. But
I don't have that much hate, and I think you should probably feel. We did a
I have
back-to-back
hate.
AFC Championship.
I have hate because of
I don't
jealousy.
have that much hate to the Dolphins.
It's jealousy.
Yeah,
It's always been who's going to be the team that wins the playoff game first.
yeah.
And right now, it appears that the Dolphins are not trending in that direction. Yes, Tycho?
Real quick, just to actually wrap up, we have 2 games tonight. Jaguars at Bills, Commanders at Bengals. If you only could watch one of these games because they're both terrible.
Jags-Bills. I think the Jags keep this close.
Cool.
Bengals Commanders. I think it's a shootout.
All right.
Ooh, I like that.
Love that.
Which means that
I also like watching
the
Jaguars.
Bills are
Jane
gonna,
Daniels,
which means that the Bills are going to fucking curb stomp the Jags,
And
the Commies are going to win.
So I will say I was going to put a $1,000 parlay down on the Bucks, the 49ers, and the Bills, and I didn't do it. Thank God. So maybe we take the Jags money line.
I think the Jags are sneaky. Gabe Davis revenge game.
Maybe we take the Jags money line. Gabe Davis.
What do you
revenge.
think, Tycho?
I think that I like the Jags and I like the Commanders. Holy shit. Well, that's gross.
Yeah, it's weird. It's
Yeah,
sneaky. But if there's
he's
anything we
definitely
learned,
tired.
it's a sneaky week.
I'm big.
I think it's back time for Tycho.
All right, week 3. I think it's late. It's 1:22 in the morning. We got to wrap this up. Obviously, it's if you've been listening to this whole thing, it means a ton. It means the world. Jack's going to be out all week. He's in Switzerland. We're going to have a lot of rotating guests. But this was fun. This was a good episode.
I feel like after this week, I should have a permanent seat.
No.
Okay. Bye.
Love you. Bye. Caps Off is brought to you by Better, starring Adam Spachnik, Jack Perotti, and this guy Pat right now, who we don't know if we're officially giving a seat to.
Cool.
Make sure to check out our socials at Caps Off Pod on Instagram and Caps Off Podcast on TikTok. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at the link in the description. And as always, be sure to download Better and play Better Picks with promo code CAPSOFF to play the best daily fantasy football app on the market.